In the world of business, credit is credibility, integrity is trust earned, is gold and money in the bank. Good Monday afternoon, I am William Theo and this is PTV News Now. House Speaker Martin Romualdez hailed the latest rating of A- on the Philippine government's credit status by Japan-based credit evaluator Watchdog Rating and Information or R&I as irrefutable proof of the sound economic and fiscal policies of the Marcos Jr. administration. The House Speaker said the president is elated and even more energized over this latest piece of welcome news that is the highest credit rating earned by the country ever. In addition, he pointed to the country's 6.3% GDP growth in the second quarter of this year, which is well within range of the forecast of multi-lending institutions for the country this year. This upgrade coming at the heels of a BBB+ rating attached to the Philippine government just last year, which means lesser borrowing costs and smaller interest payments on loans from lending institutions. Meanwhile, the Windy City, one of America's most iconic and prosperous cities whose economic boom began during the Industrial Revolution. It is also a hotbed of political dissent and protest actions and a pet site for the Democratic Party's National Convention, which in 1968 was marred by violent protests from picketers who vehemently opposed the Vietnam War, the thorny issue which prompted then-incumbent President LBJ to abdicate re-election. More than half a century has passed and the city is once again playing host to the Democratic National Huddle, which will officially announce Vice President Kamala Harris as the party's presidential nominee for November's race for the White House. And just like in 1968 and henceforth, protest action from tens of thousands of activists will fill the streets of downtown Chicago to seek an end to the war in Gaza, where Israel has had total domination on a death toll of over 40,000 innocent Palestinians and Hamas fighters. The rallying crowds are expected to grow bigger each day until Thursday in front of the convention site, the house that Michael Jordan built. And over 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers are estimated to have sustained injuries in the battlefield. For a good number of them, a vow to return to the battlefield is a commitment they intend to keep sooner than later. VOA's Anna Kutsusenko hooked up with some of them and filed this report.
Chicago, 1968. Violence outside the Democratic National Convention between police and Vietnam War protesters. TV, still a relatively new medium, showing the conflicts live. New York City, 1976. The last time the Democratic Party would announce its vice presidential candidate at the convention, with presidential candidate Jimmy Carter choosing Walter Mondale.
We have that vision, we love our country, and we're going to do our job. Thank you very much.
Chaos at the next convention in 1980, when Senator Ted Kennedy challenged President Carter's re-election. Kennedy would concede to Carter in a famous speech that ended with this line.
The cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
Back to Chicago, 1996, and civil rights protesters demanding racial equality and welfare reform. Police keeping the crowds from entering the security perimeter. Denver, 2008. Barack Obama's acceptance speech moved to an outdoor stadium to accommodate the convention record crowd of 84,000.
With profound gratitude and great humility, I accept your nomination for presidency of the United States.
This week in Chicago, Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz begin their party's convention with some momentum. Last month, President Joe Biden was trailing Republican candidate Donald Trump in political polls. Since Biden dropped out, candidate Harris has risen in those polls. Last week's Morning Consult survey showing her 3 points ahead of Trump, although it remains a tight race. There will be protesters, as there always are at conventions, like these from last month's Republican gathering held in neighboring Wisconsin. Meeting them in Chicago will be thousands of federal, state, and local police officers.
I'm confident that our plan will provide a safe and secure environment during the DNC.
Chicago officials expect as many as 50,000 out-of-town visitors for the convention, with the city's United Center hosting the Democratic Party events. Carolyn Pursuti, VOA News.
And we've come to the end of our program. Join us again later on for the next round of stories in PTV's News Now's Evening Edition. So keep it here and stay connected while catching the news nowhere else. I am William Theo, and thank you for watching PTV News Now.